Hello and welcome to Number by Color. My name is Todd, and today I am excited to review / show you a little bit of this game called Murder by Numbers. Now, this is a little bit different than my normal reviews. Even though I'm calling this a review, I'm not fully reviewing the entire game. I'm just giving you my opinion on the game and then showing you a little bit of the gameplay mechanics so that you can make a decision about whether or not this seems interesting to you. You know, I found that for some games that I'm really interested in, there's a lack of information, or at least that I have been able to find. Sometimes there's a lack of information on how the game actually works and what the mechanics of the game are. You know, you can watch a trailer and say, that looks pretty interesting, and you can watch a review, and they'll probably give you a good amount of information about how the game works and what it is really. But at least for RPGs and other games like that, I feel like there's still some information that I want to know before I commit to actually buying the game. And so that's what I'm doing today with this game. It's called Murder by Numbers. It is a combination visual novel and nonogram game, or Picross you might be familiar with. So the basics are this. There is a murder mystery happening, visual novel style. As you can see on the screen, you have a couple of characters here. And so there's a story playing out, a murder mystery. You're trying to figure out what happened, who killed this person, and all this kind of thing. But then in order to do that, you have to solve puzzles, and these are nonogram puzzles. They're Picross style puzzles. So I'm going to show you a little bit about this game, or show you a little bit of this game rather, and give you kind of a taste of what it is without spoiling too much. And then you can decide for yourself whether or not you want to check it out. And for the record, I think this game is really good. If you like Picross style games, I think you would really enjoy it. If you like visual novel style games, I think you would enjoy it still too. There's not really a lot of challenge in that aspect of the game. The most challenging parts are the nonogram parts. There's not really there is an investigation technically, but there's not really a trial or anything like that where you have to make decisions in kind of real time and choose things like that. So I'm just going to show you the game so you can get an idea of how it is, and then you can decide whether or not you want it. And I'll give you maybe a little bit of commentary along the way. So as you can see, we are in a section of this particular case where I can either choose to investigate or I can choose to question the people who I am standing next to. So right now I'm going to choose to question them so you can get a feel of what that is like in this game. So I'm going to choose Casey. And at first, you kind of get this little text here. I guess I'll just read it because it's... But I'm not going to read it. So you just get this little text here. And then usually there's one question or prompt to begin with. And you choose that. So what happened here? So I'm like, what the hell happened here? Your guess is as good as mine. I was in the area and decided to swing by. Fran mentioned to me that she had the place done up, so I thought I'd take a look at the outside at least. But when I got here, well, this is what I found. So that is over. Now, that opened up a couple more questions. So I choose Fran. I have a feeling that's a name you've mentioned before. Frantasia. She owns the place. She's also my drag mother, of sorts. I cannot find any records in my database for drag mother. So you get this kind of back and forth. It's a little bit lighthearted. It's not super serious. There's a little bit of a seriousness to it, but it's not way serious. This style kind of reminds me of Danganronpa. If you can, if you've played that game, you can kind of see maybe what I'm talking about, where there's sort of an animation style, and then as like a surprised animation comes up if they're surprised, or like a questioning animation comes up if they're kind of curious about what you're saying, and things like that. So you go through and you kind of get some story, some information from the people that you're talking to and in sort of interrogating in a sense. And you can see that added a fourth option now. So you kind of do this, you go through and figure out who these people are and information about what is happening. I could do the same with Detective Cross. See, he starts with 1 and then so on and so on. But what I really want to show you is sort of the real meat of the game, in my opinion at least. It's the investigation. So this is in a visual novel. This is where you would maybe do some environmental puzzles or maybe like an adventure style puzzle. But in here, you kind of just, you are, I guess I'll preface this, you are this little computer scout. You are not him. He is helping you. and he kind of, when you hit investigate, he sort of analyzes the crime scene. As you can see, this is like supposed to be his monitor, him viewing out of it. When the little icon becomes red, that is an area that you can investigate. So if you start investigating, it starts a puzzle, and this is a nonogram puzzle. So I'm going to do this real quick and see, you know, how fast I can do it. Sometimes it takes a little while, sometimes it doesn't. I've never really done it while trying to explain things before. So I'm going to, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, if you are familiar with nonogram games or puzzles, this is pretty much that, except in a visual novel form. And there's, like normal, you can put X's in spaces. You can do these little temporary boxes if you are not sure, or if you're sure that there's something there, but you're not exactly sure where it is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I probably should have picked a little bit easier one, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and then get closer to the end and then continue kind of explaining the game. Okay, so I'm just about at the end right now, and I only have a few more moves left, but I wanted to show you a little bit about what happens while you're playing this if you've never played a game like this. So I don't want to explain the rules of this per se, but let me tell you, if you've never done this before and it looks really complicated and confusing, it's not. They do a pretty good job of explaining how to do it. Basically, you look at the numbers along the side or along the top, and you have to fill in, you have to black in the squares that many. I'm not even explaining it very well right now. You have to black in the number of squares that are in the, you know, the column or the row above the grid itself. So for example, I'll show you in this right row where I'm, the left row where I am right now, you could see that there are 3 blacked in areas, and the 3 on top of it that's highlighted in yellow is sort of grayed out a little bit more so than the 3 in the column that I'm looking at now. So once you kind of put the right number of ticks in the column, it blacks out the number, or grays out the number. And it doesn't necessarily always tell you that you are correct. It grays out when you put the correct number. It doesn't always tell you that you're right, though. There is a help feature where you can get some hints. It doesn't necessarily just tell you the answer. It can like kind of guide you to putting the right things in. But you can see here, when I do 3 here, poof, the 3 gets grayed out, the 1 up here and over here gets grayed out, and you can actually fill in these other boxes with X's. You don't have to put the X's in, but it helps you sort of keep track visually of what you've done and what is left to fill in. So I'm just going to do these real quick, and then there you go, it's complete. And now what is this? This is a passport, and of course it looks a little bit blurry and like visual mess, but that's that. And then you could see here that I've completed the puzzle. I didn't need an assist, so I got a no assist bonus. The difficulty is, I think it's set to normal. I don't even know if there is a difficulty mode. I guess there is an easier mode. That's normal, so I get 3,000 extra points. So I got 9,000 case score. You can see my detective rank is F, and I'm going to show you what that means in a second. I just got to get through this scene, so I'll be right back. Okay, so they just discussed what the passport that I just found means and the implications that it has to the case. But what I'm going to show you now is what that ranking means, and that is not the way to do that. What I'm going to show you now is what the ranking means. So if I go to Scout's Memories, as my rank goes up for each case, I can unlock additional puzzles. These are not story puzzles. Well, these are story puzzles per se, but they're not connected directly to the case that I'm working on at the moment. So when you start a case, as you can see in case 4 and case 3, I'm working on case 3 right now, you start out at rank F, which is the lowest. And as you do puzzles, depending on how well you do, you get points that can increase your rank. The more you increase your rank, the more of these extra puzzles you unlock. So I started at F. Eventually, I will move to rank E. And as you can see over here, of course, the letters have gone, but over time, you unlock more and more extra puzzles, which is cool because some people might not like the visual novel aspect. You can kind of breeze through that if you really want to. There's nothing you will really miss per se. There's no choices you have to make. It doesn't hold you back if you don't really want to do that. So you can do the main story puzzles if you want to, but the real fun is the puzzles themselves, really, for a lot of nonogram games. So if you want, you can get enough points to unlock more puzzles, and these puzzles are sometimes more challenging than the story puzzles. So if you want more of a challenge than what the story is giving you, you can do these puzzles. And as you can see over here on the right side of the screen, in case 1, you have 12 extra puzzles to unlock. In case 2, there's 17 extra ones. In case 3, there's 20. And in case 4, there's 20. So there's a lot of extra puzzles here. That's 20, 40, 57, 69. 69. Okay, so anyway, there's 69 extra puzzles that you can unlock in addition to the case puzzles, which are different than these puzzles. So really, it's a lot of fun. And I really enjoy this aspect of the game. I guess one more thing I'll mention is when you are talking to people, as you complete puzzles, you can present evidence to them that you have found in your investigation. So if I click on passport, now there's another scene where we say we have identified the victim, his name is Oliver Laurel, etc., etc. So we go through this, and sometimes you'll need to do this. You'll need to present particular evidence to a particular person to get the story to move along, and it's just kind of a cool little puzzle-based thing. It's not too deep, it's not too complex, but I think it's a lot of fun, and if you're a fan of nonogram games and a fan of visual novel games, you'll really, really enjoy this. If you're a fan of one or the other, you'll probably still enjoy this. I think if you're more a fan of visual novels than nonograms, you might not get as much out of this. I think the story is actually pretty good. I'm enjoying it for what it is. I don't think it's on the level of Danganronpa or what I've heard AI, Somnium Files is, or Zero Escape kind of thing, but it's still pretty good. It's lighthearted. It's nice for what it is. If you're a fan of nonogram games, I definitely think that you should give this a try. It's about 15 bucks on the eShop, and I think it's really worth it. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I hope you've enjoyed this. I know it's probably been a little bit rambly, and I'm just showing you a lot of gameplay footage, but hopefully it's enough to give you an informed opinion or decision-making ability on whether or not you would enjoy this game. This is a little bit different than my normal reviews, and I know, or I guess I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't want to fully beat this game and then just show you video of it being played while I talk over it, which is sort of, I know, what I was doing tonight, or today, or whenever you're watching this video. But I think me kind of explaining as I go through it is a little bit more helpful than me just showing you a video of what the game is, because I can sort of sit with you and let things happen naturally, as opposed to just like pre-taping the game and then putting voiceover over it and all that kind of thing. So let me know if you've enjoyed this style of a review. I definitely would say this is worth checking out. I like this game a lot. I'm very happy it's available and that I got it. And if you don't like this, maybe I'll go back. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to go back to the other style for other games, but for this kind of game, I think I really wanted to do this style as something a little bit different than normal, and hopefully this really helps. Like I said, a lot of this kind of game, it's hard to find, especially for indie games like this. I think this is an indie game, a little more niche games. It's hard to find reviews, number one, but it's also hard to find sort of gameplay footage. So hopefully this helped. I keep saying that, but I really do hope it helped, and I hope you check this out because I really like it. If you played this and you like it, let me know in the comments. If you get it because of this video and you like it, let me know. If you get it and you don't like it, let me know too, because maybe I can do better at convincing you next time. But for now, I'm going to go, and I'm going to keep playing this game, and I will see you next time. So have a good night.